Hello and welcome to Model Kit Beginner. Hope you guys all doing alright. It is a Wednesday evening, so I'm not recording this at the weekend because we get visitors at the weekend. My son is coming and his wife, and we're gonna have a jolly good time and probably no time to do videos, so I thought I'll pop one in today. And today we had a look at lots of old and vintage kits, and I kind of get the idea that some people, or probably the majority of people, come here to this channel to look at the older kits, but we have today this one, which is by no means brand new. 2012, if I remember correctly. We'll have a look at that now. But it is a more modern kit for sure. Certainly doesn't have the charm. It probably also doesn't have the flash of the older kits. But I love those Le Mans cars, I really do. These area with the long tail Porsches, etc., which just falls right into. So we will certainly have a look at that. It's from the fine folks over at Tamiya. The scale is 1 to 24. And before we go onto the bench and see what is in that particular box, I guess we have a quick look at the history of the kit and just scrape the surface of the history of the car itself. And I'll see you there. And here we are on Scaleways and have a look at the history of the Esso Ultron Toyota GT1, also known as the TS020. Now, as I said, this kit is a 2014 kit where it was newly tooled. No, where it was newly boxed, not newly tooled. But you can't really blame them for that because the kit itself, it's from 2000 and 2001. So 12, 13 years later, they kind of re-popped the kit. Originally, the box looked like this. Still the same car. I mean, the car only ran for 2 years, and there wasn't a lot of difference here. And then they also had a transparent version, which you can see right over here. And obviously, always good to see what it actually looked like in real life, and here you have it. That's the Japanese version. They actually did quite well in 1998. They became 8th in their class and 9 overall, and in 1999 they were 1st in their class and 2nd overall. It was only the Japanese crews who were as successful. The European crews weren't. There were names in like Martin Brundle, Thierry Boutsen, really well-known drivers, and unfortunately they're all retired, and the Japanese pulled through with Katayama, Suzuki and Tsuchiya, and that was the success they had with the GT1 or TS020. So much for the history. This photo, by the way, was taken in 2012 in Japan, Fujimi, for a race course. Not quite sure if it's still there, if it's a museum. Looks more like a temporary setting right over here. Surely it is, if not there, in a Toyota museum somewhere. Successful Le Mans car from 1998 and 1999. Right, so much about the history of the kit and the car. As I said, first time came out in 2000. Iteration we have a look at is a repop from 2014. And what does that look like? Well, let's get down to the bench and have a look and find out. So, and here we are with the Toyota GT1, also known as the TS020. As I said, from the fine folks over at Tamiya in 124. Have a quick look around the box, see what you see. Here we go. You see they give you 2 options. That's the number 1. You have seen the number 3 in the front, and here on this side you have the number 3 as well. Here you go. Then on the sides there is just the top, and here we have bottom. There is nothing. Right, let's open this up. We have the instructions. which actually can put away because we're going to have a look at them online. We have beautiful body, we have tires, a couple of sprues of stuff in different colors. We have tell you to be careful with the PS markings. Coils may generate gas if heated, so there are a couple of tech tips here, and that's about it. Right. So as I said, we're going to start with the bench, with the instructions. So let's get that going quickly. So here we are. That's what it looks like. Gives you a picture, a little bit of the history, what I just told you about, some of it anyway. And then we start with the engine. It looks right over here, and as you can see right straight away, there's quite a bit of detail going on. Also see everything must be in X18. If you look at the color call out, which is right over here, you will see there's no X18 here. But between you and me, X18 means semi-gloss black. Obviously forgot to put it in the color call out. No trans mesh whatsoever. So then suspension, all different colors as well. So very detailed color call outs here, which I think is fantastic. So you really can get all out. I mean, they have a card to look into, they have the original, so they're obviously using the original and trying to make it as much as original as possible. So we have the engine and the rear suspension right over here. Very nice. Last parts of engine and rear suspension come together with the exhaust, which you see right over here. Quite an assembly as well. We have the monocoque assembly. We have a TS020 white stripe right over here. And we have monocoque assembly right over there. Gives you a pretty good idea how to get that together. That's all kind of semi-gloss black mostly, with a couple of accents. Then the seat, dashboard, quite detailed, race steering wheel, roll bar right over here, and the firewall. Gives you an idea of what to do with the seat right over here. Then how to attach the engine to the rest of the monocoque. Then here over here you have a masking seal. We're going to have a look at that right now, because here in front it needs to be white, because that was actually sponsored by Marlboro, but by 1998, 1999 they were not allowed to display Marlboro anymore. That was in France not allowed anymore. So, and even in Japan, and nobody they ever used the Marlboro logo. Sometimes they still have the Marlboro barcode on there, but even that wasn't used in races as well. So he gives you an idea of the inner fenders. Going to get that on. Wheels right over here. Some more detail. Then the window with the decal right over here. The light covers and some of, that is the light covers which goes inside here. Oh no, that's actually the rear lights right over here. So that's the rear light and assembly, which comes right over here. Then we have intake duct right over here. Pretty cool. Rear brake cooling. So these are pipes which help you to cool the rear brakes. So presumably in a race for 24 hours, you should try to keep them cool. Wheel assembly right over here. It also has these wheel decals, which go onto vinyl or rubber wheels. Then the final assembly right over here with the rear wing, and then the rear cowling. It's a very long back car, which they were in those days, still are to a point. And the Porsches obviously started that trend, and here we go. There it is as well with the Toyotas, and very, very beautiful. Here you go, you can see that long elongated backside of that Le Mans car. Here it gives you an idea of the decals which needs to be put on. As you can see, we have two decal sorry about that. We have two schemes. We have the number 3 scheme right over here, and then we have the number 1 scheme. Don't ask me which are the drivers of number 3 and number 1. I am not too sure. Right, and that's about it as far as the instructions are concerned. And we start having a look at the decal sheet to start with. That's still in the box, didn't take that out. Here we go. Alright, let's get that all out here. We have a couple of masks, for example, for the front part right over here, and some other masks which you can use. Love it when they put masks in, and they are pre-cut. Fantastic. Then we have the first decal sheet. Let's get a bit closer here, shall we not? Come on. Come on. Surely. Come a bit closer here. Just use the right window. I'll be with you in a second. Please hold. Here we go. Right. There you get the decal sheet. Very, very nice. They have the belt right over here. Couple of sponsor decals, and then couple of trim decals here as well. And then we have a bigger decal sheet, which you find right over here. Very, very nice. Lots of white decals. Then different window decals depending which number you build. I think the number 1 has the white one, and the number 3 has the red one, which they put on the window. That trim. Then we have couple of Japanese flags right over here, and sponsored decals. Again, right. Decal sheet looks pretty cool. Looks pretty crisp as well. Love it when they put the masks in, and the masks are pre-cut. That's pretty good. It makes things so much easier and helps you to get a precise paint job going. Right, let's try to get these in here. I don't want those floating around and getting dirty. That we don't want. Then we have some tires right over here, and pulley caps right over here. Let's open them up. Let's have a look at one of them. Tires. Tamiya, that was all clipped together. Here we go. There's my first clip. Do you see? Just collect them after I'm finished here. Right, we have tires right over here. Racing tires. No branding on the side, but there is branding. We'll get to that in a minute, which you can apply yourself. Tires are quite soft, so that's pretty cool. So you will be able to slip them over after wheel construction. Then we have the glass, and as we always do, we will not open the transparent bag. Here you go. Obviously the front window right over here. I would say these are the lens covers for the front lights. And then we have the different rear lights over here, and that's about it. So there is not more transparent parts necessary. Chrome. There is a little bit of chrome, which is together with the white screw. Let's open this up. All right, let's start with the chrome here. We have the two radiators, which are behind the air intakes, keep the engine cool. We have the exhaust system right over here, and right over here, as well as right over here. Very nice. Yeah, obviously we have these attachment points here, which are always an issue. You can either try to be clever and get them up, or not. But I see there are quite a few seams here as well. You might still get away with it on the exhaust because that's, but I don't think you should. You probably, yeah, it's a pity, but you probably need to dechrome this and rechrome it afterwards. It's a pity because the plating is very, very nicely done, but the seams are just everywhere. They are not only here, they're right over here, they're right over here. So I know that will bug me. So we will have to probably dechrome it and rechrome it. All part of the fun, isn't it? Then we have the wide sprue right over here, which the cockpit, always difficult with wide on the camera, always whites out, but here that gives you an idea. There's a bit of detail, quite a bit of actually. We have the wheels right over here, body parts, the seat, some of ventilation parts. I think these are the brake ventilation parts right over here, which we have just seen in the instructions. And that is what's on the wide sprue. But that's not all sprue we have. No, sir. We also have a big black one. So that's coming up right over here. That's quite a sizable one. There you go. That's my hand. So it's quite a big one. So that's the bottom pan. Right over here we have the engine. So have a look at the detail. Right over here is the engine. There's a 2-ton job. This one is kind of silver. This one is kind of semi-gloss black. Wheels right over here. They actually look pretty cool. Very nice. And inside bottom pan we have the wing right over here. That's the part where the rear lights get attached to. You have seen that. And some other ventilation parts. Part of the rear suspension right over here where my finger is. Here you go. And engine and suspension parts. That's what we all see on the black sprue. Looks all pretty crisp. There is no there are seams as we have seen on the chrome parts, but there is no flash to speak of. And then obviously, last but certainly not least, we get to the body. We have the body, and we have something else in here. What is that? I'll tell you what that is. These are the decals which get onto the rubber wheels. So you have the Michelin or the Japanese rubber manufacturer, which you can add on to your wheels, your tires. Pretty cool. Put that in a safe place. And then we obviously have the body. So look, that is really long, but it's obviously not that long. There's that piece in between. I'm not going to take that off now. So that's pretty cool. I like that a lot. Looks very, very clean. Bit of very little tender loving care needed just to, make it adhere, get some of these sharp edges, get them going, and obviously once you cut that out, you need to soften that up and clean that up, but otherwise it looks very, very, very clean. Lovely, lovely thing. So there seems to be no, it's not a support, that's actually part of the car. So that's right over here as well. So that's all pretty cool. I think that looks very, very nice. Those gaps look pretty good for 124. Here we go, you get an idea. Have a look at them. I think they are manageable as well. Maybe the front side. Here you go. It looks a cool car, let's be honest. It is 1998, 1999, just before the 2000s. Really, really nice car. And that basically in a nutshell, and also out of the nutshell, is the Toyota GT1 or the TS020. And back in the box, I think it's a pretty cool kit. Here you can also see the screws, so you can check if you have everything. We looked at everything, so we have it all. And we go back upstairs, and I'll tell you what I think about it. See you there. And here we are, back upstairs. What do you think? I think it's a brilliant kit. Love the detail, love the crispness of the kit, love the car, obviously. I love those cars. Would love to have that Porsche as well from the same era. But that Toyota looks pretty cool. Love the color scheme. The red and white of the Marlboro sponsored cars was always very striking. Rothmans was always very cool as well. The Germans on the rally cars, especially the Audi Quattro, always had the HB German cigarettes color scheme. Now, cigarettes obviously not good, but they had fantastic color schemes on their sponsorships. That's what you remember, the Gauloise cars. Oh, it just looked awesome. John Player, really cool. But yeah, I get it. So we don't have those anymore, but we still can revel at their beauty. Right, love this kit. Love the Toyota GT1 TS020 from the fine folks over at Tamiya. 124, looks cool. It doesn't look like you will have lots of problems to put that together. There is some detail painting asked for, that's for sure, so you will be masking quite a bit to make sure that you get all the colors more or less right if you want to build it pretty much original, which if you buy a car like this you obviously do want to do. This is not something you paint pink or purple and make it a flower power car. This is a serious race car, and that's what you like to build it at. Well, thanks very much for popping in. Hope you liked that. I certainly did. It was fantastic to look at. As you could see, bags were closed first time we looked at that together. Really, really love the car and the history of that, and I hope you do as well. Thanks for popping in. You all have a wonderful rest of the week, and greetings from Cape Town. Cheers.